So, John, when you died,
It's a rather chilling distinction.
what would you want somebody to do to your apartment?
What to do to my apartment? Well, I mean, look at it. It's pretty much unimprovable. So any cosmetic changes, I'd be quite unhappy about because I've really put a lot of thought into the decoration of this place. So.
John, it looks like you already died 10 years ago and nobody's touched it since.
Oh, thanks. That's the vibe I'm going for. The Miss Havisham look. It's very in.
Very good.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are pitching prequels, sequels, and spin-off ideas to Beetlejuice. We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with the ideas they have posted on our social media pages. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the original movie and catch you up with a bit of a plot summary. I am Harry, the host with the most interior decor taste.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
You accept, okay. And joining me as always, the host whose apartment is probably worth a negative amount by this point, it's John Lucas.
Well, it's a good thing I don't own it, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why you keep talking about buying it though.
One day, yeah.
It's like your ambition's higher.
Fine.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm driving down the value so I can buy a steal and then I'll flip it.
Yeah. How's that working out for you?
Well, it's progressing.
Is 2020 against you?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Beetlejuice. Start of our ghost season for Halloween.
Yes. Woo!
Happy October, everybody.
Yeah. So for the month of October, in keeping with our general theme, we always do a themed Halloween month. We've done in the past, we've done Vampire Month. We've done Werewolf Month.
And we've done Witches.
Yeah, so now we're doing Ghosts.
We're on year 4 already.
I know. Hasn't the time flown by, Harry?
Yeah. I used to be so young. Yeah, so Beetlejuice then. What do you think?
Yeah, so I actually had not seen this before.
Had you not?
No, weirdly.
I really thought you had.
No, I mean, it's such an iconic film that I kind of feel like I have, but I don't, to my recollection, I don't know if I've sat down and watched it from start to finish.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what did you think?
Well, what did you think? You were talking first.
Oh, okay, fine. Someone doesn't want to commit himself. I enjoyed looking at this film.
Okay.
Yeah, it's visually amazing. I've said this before about Tim Burton films. I really like the way they look. I like the practical effects. I like all of the costumes and the set design, and I just find them really fun to look at.
Yeah.
The plot, not so much.
Is there anything else going for this film other than the way it looks?
Well, I was going to say, it reminds me of... they recently announced this week that they've cancelled the Dark Crystal on Netflix.
Okay.
I remember watching the first, and as it turns out, only season of that, and being like, there's not much of a plot here, but gosh, it's pretty. And I kind of felt like this too. I mean, not that it's pretty, but like, it's so fun to look at. But yeah, there's not a whole lot there in terms of the plot.
This film doesn't make any sense.
I mean, does it need to?
Well, I feel like other Tim Burton films make sense.
In what sense does it not make sense? So that's a weird sentence, but I didn't find it confusing or illogical in its own world.
No, I don't think like the plot necessarily didn't make any sense. Just the fact that this film exists and seems to be very popular for some reason, or at least everybody seems to know it. I don't really know why. Because this film is not good.
I think we can finally establish that Tim Burton films in general are only good if you watch them for the first time when you're a kid.
100%.
Because I think they've got all those images that just like strike you and then they stay with you even though the plot isn't that exciting.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a bad film. I think this is it's definitely a classic and it deserves to be a classic, but I think it's much more of a kid's film than I remembered it being in a weird way.
Yeah, but that's fine. I think the thing that really got me in this is that nothing happens for the first half of the film. And then in the second half of the film, then it just starts to not really make any sense and it just unwinds. And it just goes a bit too crazy and just everything's happening at once. And you just lose track. I don't know how this film ends. I have watched it.
Okay.
I just don't... I don't know. I think it was just a bit too much and I just kind of phased out because like I'm lost.
Yeah. I felt like... I didn't feel like I was lost. I did feel somewhat that I was kind of just passively watching it happen.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is happening now, I guess. Fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hang together brilliantly as a story.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think that's what I mean by it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the most plotty plot
No.
you'll ever see.
Because it's just some things happening and, weird bits of sort of Tim Burtonisms in the world. But also, in the first half of this film, almost nothing happens.
Yeah, although, I don't know, maybe I'm not sure if I don't prefer the first half hour.
I think I do too.
Yeah, it does at least have some story set up.
Yeah.
And then once that setup has happened, then it just kind of drifted for me a little bit. But
yeah.
It's surprising how much Beetlejuice is not in the movie.
I think that's kind of what got to me.
Yeah.
Was that he's the title character. He's an iconically recognizable character with the black and white stripes.
Yeah.
He's not in it a lot, and I didn't like him.
Okay. Wow. So it's a fail on both sides. Yeah, it's really like Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis's movie. They're the stars.
I didn't like the film because he wasn't in it, and then when he was in it, I didn't like it.
You wished he'd go away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, okay. So for you, this didn't work on either level. Really.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it to that degree. There were bits of it that really took me back, even though I've not watched it front to back. Like there was certain... I mean, I could watch Catherine O'Hara do anything,
Yeah.
I was very happy that she was in it, and she was great. And there are scenes in this that are just like iconic and really memorable. This film must have done more for Harry Belafonte's streaming, like back catalogue sales than anything. He's the guy who sang the Banana Boat song.
Yeah.
And also Shake, Shake, Shake Sonora, the two big musical numbers.
Okay.
Songs by a singer called Harry Belafonte. They are really iconic.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder as well. This is the first thing that she really did.
Was this before Edward Scissorhands?
Pre-Scissorhands, pre-Heathers. She did a somewhat known 80s teen kiddie film called Lucas. But this is like her first big, iconic, famous role. And I think the scene of her at the end dancing to Shake, Shake, Shake Sonora, I'm sure to this day people ask her to do that every day. Like it's just one of those things. It's just a really iconic.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell, okay, watching this film, it's got some famous people in it who are already famous, but you can tell, okay, this she's got something. She's got like star quality. She's got something unique. So,
yeah.
So I enjoyed it on that level, but I couldn't say it's the most brilliantly engaging film that we've ever seen.
No.
Not by a while. Not by a long shot.
Oh, I've got to go.
What about that guy in the flyer? Beetle...
Don't even say his name. You don't want his help.
Well...
We might.
No, you don't. He does not work well with others.
What do you mean?
I didn't want to bring it up. But rather than have you stumble onto it and make another mistake, I'll tell you. He was my assistant. But he was a troublemaker. He went out on his own as a freelance bio-exorcist. Claimed he could get rid of the living. Got into more trouble. In fact, I believe he's been sleazing around your cemetery lately. The only way he can be brought back is by calling his name 3 times. But I strongly suggest that you remove the Dietzes yourselves.
Let's do a plot summary then.
Sure, okay. So, Beetlejuice, released in 1988. It's the first, I think, big Tim Burton movie. I think he did... Oh, another one that we'll probably never look at called Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which I think is much more of an American thing. It's... have you even heard of Pee-wee Herman?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like a children's entertainer. I think he's much more famous in America. I have no context for him.
Right.
Except that he did this film. All I know about Pee-wee Herman is that he was very popular in America. They made a film about him directed by Tim Burton, and at one point he got arrested for wanking in a cinema. That's all I know about him. So,
cool.
Sorry, Americans. Apparently he's very beloved in America, but
yeah.
Or was before the wanking incident, but yeah. I think it was a porn film, but
Okay.
I think a lot of people think he was hard done by, but he got caught wanking in. They used to have this before the internet. They had, this is so off topic, they used to have cinemas that would show porn, and men would just go in and have a wank.
Yeah.
Because this is before you could just go on the internet and do that.
Yeah.
So, and he did that and got caught, and then there was all this, there's a whole tabloid sting. So it wasn't like he was looking at like kiddie porn or anything, or he was just in a regular cinema. He was in a cinema to wank, and he had a wank. So he didn't do anything wrong, but because he was a children's entertainer, I think it just like he was kind of shamed and driven out of the industry for a long time. But
Yeah.
anyway, at some point before that, Tim Burton made his film.
Yeah.
Did quite well. Then he made Beetlejuice, did pretty well. Then Batman, and then everything went from there. And so this is one of his first probably the first time Tim Burton did an original thing that he just got to use his imagination. And you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell it's like, oh, I've got some money and I've got freedom to do all these crazy things. Let's just go for it. So it opens with a happily married, pretty loved up, newlywed. It doesn't say how long they've been married. Maybe seemingly, well, they're young.
I certainly got that feeling.
Yeah, they've got that newlywed feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still actively attracted to each other. So, you know. These kind of like newlyweds living in this lovely little, lovely question mark house on a hill in a small town. I mean,
It's a classic haunted house to be.
it does scream haunted house to be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, it's Gina Davis and
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. Yeah. Half of Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin,
The young half.
Alec Baldwin, the skinny years. Yeah. So they're happily in love and living in this house. And very early on in the film, they go for a drive into the town to do some shopping. And through a tragic accident, I was trying to think of a better way of phrasing that, but a tragic accident,
They get murdered by a dog.
they get murdered. Yeah. I mean, that visual was my first big laugh of the film. Like,
Yeah,
that
same.
was genuinely hilarious. So
Yeah.
they're driving and there's a dog in the road and they do a hard turn to kind of avoid hitting it, drive through a barn, and they end up like overlooking a very small drop into what looks like a shallow river.
Yes.
I was surprised this killed them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But sure,
Yeah. Maybe it was the shallowness of the river that did it. Wasn't enough of a cushion, so the car just essentially landed on rocks.
Well, the original script was supposed to be a lot darker. I was doing this is John's IMDb corner here.
Great.
In the original script, it was supposed to be that they would fall into the river in the car, but then there was supposed to be a whole sequence of them actually drowning where she gets her arm trapped in the car door and can't get out, and then they both drown, and it's like pretty gruesome.
Wow.
But they decided not to go with that because this is essentially a children's movie.
Yeah.
So I think good call. But yeah, the visual of them hanging over the riverbed, like they crashed through the side of the barn, and the car's like classically teetering like over the side of a cliff, but it's not a cliff; it's just a little riverbed, and the very delicately weighted. And they look, and the little dog, the tiny dog whose weight would so not hold up a car.
No.
It's the size of your dog Laura. Like
Yeah.
it's this tiny little pooch just sat on a plank, and then it just maliciously jumps off, and they fall to their deaths. And then we see them return home, wet and confused, and they've got no memory of escaping the accident.
Yeah.
But they don't realize yet that they're dead.
Yeah.
But very quickly, they do come to realize that they have, in fact, moved on to the afterlife. Thanks to some subtle clues, such as they're constantly cold.
Yeah.
Whenever they step outside, they get transported into this weird kind of Salvador Dali painting, come to life kind of thing.
Felt alarming.
Yeah, very alarming. Yeah. And they also find a handbook entitled Handbook to the Recently Deceased.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives it away. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're dead. And they seem to accept that fairly quickly.
Really
They
well.
move on from the fact that they're dead very quickly.
Really well. They do have problems, but it's not with the fact that they're dead.
No, it's more like it's an inconvenience. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm never going to clean this house now. I'm dead. Like,
Yeah.
they don't seem particularly bothered that they have like died. But yeah, we kind of stay with them as they explore what it means to be dead. They get used to like the rules of being dead. They go on a little tour of the underworld for a while. They meet a lot of wacky undead characters, which is where you meet some of the best creature features. I think you've got the disembodied legs. They're really good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The
That's
guy
a
with the
good
tiny
one.
little shrunken head. The guy who died in a fire who's like chain smoking, who's just like a burnt out husk. That's maybe my favorite.
Yeah.
No. My favorite is the flattened guy, actually. That's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because they all look like what happened to them when they died. So it really makes you think, what did that guy do? How did he get flattened? Like,
I think it happened in a Saw film once.
oh, well, sure. I mean, they came later, but okay. I liked thinking about what happened to all these people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they...
That guy get a shrunken head, but he still has a normal body. How does that work?
Is that like supposed to be a curse? Because there's a bit at the end of the film where Beetlejuice gets cursed.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, regardless, they get used to the fact that they're dead, and they're kind of living in their house. But they are quite alarmed when a new family moves in. And these are the Dietzes, who are a very kind of hipstery, modernish, well, she is, New York couple.
Yeah.
He's actually pretty dad-like.
Yeah.
There's nothing here about him.
Yeah.
But they're a classic New York couple. played by Jeffrey Jones, who's one of those character actors who's in lots of Tim Burton movies. He played the psychic in Ed Wood, if you remember.
No.
Future events such as these could happen to you in the future.
No.
Nope, nothing. Okay.
Sorry.
Fair enough. He's in that. And Catherine O'Hara, the great Catherine O'Hara, recent Emmy winner for Schitt's Creek, who is predictably fantastic. She's playing this hipster, art, New York, fashionable kind of. She kind of looks like Cruella de Vil's slightly warmer sister.
She would make a fantastic Cruella de Vil.
She really would, especially in this. She's got like the spiky hair and the eyebrows, and she's kind of a sharp dresser.
Yeah.
She's all about fashion and sculptures, and she doesn't seem particularly interested in fur, but other than that, she's definite Cruella vibes.
Yeah.
And their daughter Lydia, played by Winona Ryder, who, ironically enough, enters the film dressed as Catherine O'Hara in The Crowing.
Yes. Yeah.
She's fully just dressed as the Crow. Like,
Yeah.
she's got like the black wig and like just a full black. I mean, it's instantly iconic. She just looks like, you can tell why teenage girls and preteen girls and a few teenage boys.
Did she invent goth?
I think she very quickly became a goth icon. Basically, yeah. Very quickly she became a goth icon, and she is to this day. Like, so yeah, she's just great. Like the costume design in any Tim Burton film is usually amazing. And yeah, as soon as Winona comes in, you're like, that's a star. It's great. So they move into the house, much to Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis's horror, and they immediately start tearing the place apart. Well, Catherine O'Hara does. She wants to completely remodel it. They're tearing it up and down.
See, now while the thoughts on my mind, I didn't really appreciate Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. I didn't think that they were right for the role.
They were a little bit low energy.
Yeah. I don't actually know Gina Davis from anything else. I do recognise the name though.
Thelma and Louise?
Sure. Was she?
Have you seen it?
Yes, but a while ago. Was she one of them?
Yes, she was the one who wasn't Susan Sarandon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I would never have been able to tell you who was in Thelma and Louise.
We'll do it at some point.
Cool. But yeah, I really thought that they were both, like you say, just a bit low energy. They weren't right for the role. Yeah, I thought they were a bit low energy, and I thought of a much better casting that actually works for the time as well for Alec Baldwin's character, and it was Tim Allen.
Sure, okay.
I think he would have been really entertaining in this. And to be honest, I'm basically just thinking of Christmas with the Cranks.
Sure, yeah.
Just take those two and put them in this.
So put Jamie Lee Curtis in. So yeah, I would like that. That could have worked really well.
Yeah, I think that they can both bring the right level of energy that this film was asking for. Then it would have made the entire first half of the film, where they're the main characters, much more entertaining.
But also, we know that Alec Baldwin can be funny because he's hysterical in 30 Rock and really energetic a lot of the times. So
I don't feel he's really energetic. I feel like he certainly found his humour, but it's not in being high energy.
No, but I mean, he's not like, sometimes he can be, when he's doing the impersonations of Tracy Jordan, all that stuff, like he can be, he can go over the top, but he's also funny in a dry way.
Yeah.
And he's neither in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they get stuck weirdly playing like the straight roles. It's interesting, like the ghosts are like playing those boring characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it almost goes a little bit too far and makes them too boring when it doesn't really give them any, I don't know, like, va-va-voom, any energy. Just a little bit more could have. I agreed. I found them weirdly low energy, and I like them both in other things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, the only person who had anything to do, really, I thought was, well, Catherine O'Hara, whenever there's like a musical number happening.
Yes.
And there were other bits that like were fun to watch her on, but like there wasn't much going on. And then Winona Ryder, but then also Winona Ryder didn't really achieve anything in this film. She didn't have like a mission. Nothing really happened. She just wasn't married by the end.
No. She's like 15, Harry.
I know, but well, that's how it went, wasn't it? How the film.
Yeah, sure. No, she's quite an observer for most of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's story. They are the protagonists.
Yeah.
But they're also a little bit dull.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot to do for the majority.
Yeah. Maybe Alec Baldwin was just hungry.
Yeah.
So the Dietzes, Catherine O'Hara in particular, and her weird assistant friend, Otho, the guy who climbs in through the window and then just seemingly moves in.
Yeah.
Because he's always there at this point. He's this like pretentious New York-y kind of arty guy, I guess, but he's helping her to remodel the whole house. But it seems like he just moves in because he's there for the rest of the film. Never really explains why he's just living with them. No. But whatever. They are remodeling the house and making it like really New York and fashion. And Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis are appalled because this is their house, this is their home, and now they feel like it's being completely destroyed. So they attempt to scare the family away, basically. And their attempts are fairly pitiful for the first half of the film. So they try the standards, like they fake their own deaths, and they've got like headless corpse stuff, and that was quite fun.
Yeah,
but
it was a good
one,
scene.
but no one can see them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really work because people can only see the ghosts if they are open to them. So and the only character from the family who can see them is little Winona Ryder. So
and she's not phased by it at all.
she's not even slightly phased.
No.
So all of their attempts fall flat. They try and get under a sheet and do the classic like woo thing, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But again, doesn't work because they're just completely ignored.
Yeah.
So they go to the underworld again and they try to find a solution. They ask for help. They try and find out how do we get rid of this family. And they see an advertisement from this character, Beetlejuice, who promises to do human exorcisms of houses.
Yes.
So
Now, first of all, why is his name spelt not the same as the title of the film?
it's Beetlejuice. I think the idea is that it's like an ancient... Well, I think it's a reference actually to an old film. The name Beetlejuice is like, I think it's like Nosferatu, the old name for a vampire. But I think it's also like taking something really old school and then giving it kind of a 80s-y sounding name. So I don't know.
Sure,
There's something behind it. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. It's definitely a reference to something. But yes, he promises to do these human exorcisms of the houses to scare the people out. But the other underworld denizens, including the old lady, who's their undead caseworker, who was also played the grandma in Mars Attacks.
Sure.
You have no memory of Mars Attacks, do you
No.
know? You put a big cannon against the back of her head. Her music kills them all. She plays all the country music.
Yeah. Vaguely.
Tim Burton likes using the same actors. You'll see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they warn Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin to not talk to Beetlejuice because he's a bad guy. He's a bad influence. He doesn't work well with others. They'll regret it. But if they do want to, they can summon him just by saying his name 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's like Candyman. It's like Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. There he is.
Yeah.
Boom. So they try a lot of their own methods to get rid of the family. Like they do the under the sheets thing. Doesn't work. They do the headless thing. It doesn't work. Their best attempt is when they possess the family at a dinner party.
Yeah.
And definitely in the top 5 most iconic moments in this film, and probably my favorite. It's a weird route to scaring someone, I thought. But
It really is, yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know what the thought process was, but they possess Catherine O'Hara essentially mid-sentence and get her to start singing the Banana Boat song, the one that goes, Deo, Deo. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
And then the whole dinner party, which includes her, the husband, and a bunch of pretentious New York arty types, just do the whole routine.
Yeah.
And they look having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's a lot of fun to watch. Like,
Yeah, it's just a weird bit in the film. It's another part of this film that's just, and then this happens and it means nothing, and then this happens and it means nothing.
yeah, it's like it's more like the whole film is more like a collection of ideas
Yeah.
than a story.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily mind. But
I think it can work in a lot of films, but just not this one.
Okay, sure, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, they do. And Catherine O'Hara's facial expressions throughout this just are amazing. I just love it. Like the look of confusion while she's doing it. Like
Yeah.
she's
Everybody's doing it.
yeah, they are, but she's just such a gifted physical comedian. So
Yeah.
it's great. So they do all that. It doesn't work. They're not scared in the slightest. So eventually they give up and they contact Beetlejuice. So they summon Beetlejuice. He does a whole Robin Williams bit. It was a very Robin Williams performance, I thought, even though it's Michael Keaton, obviously.
It was, but I just felt like it was a bit too offensive to be done by Robin Williams.
Yeah, it's like an
It's
adult.
too vulgar.
It's like almost. I mean, this came first, but it almost does feel like a spoof of the genie because he's doing all these like celebrity voices and references and it's so like up to 11 in the way that Robin Williams is when he's doing like genie style.
I feel like it's close.
riffing.
I feel like it's closer to a Jim Carrey role.
Yes, that too. Actually, definitely. Yeah, Jim Carrey definitely saw this movie and was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I will for the next 20 years. So yeah, they summon him. He does his whole riff, and then he attacks the family in the form of like a giant snake, basically.
Yeah.
And he very nearly seriously hurts or kills someone, but then they call him off again.
Yeah.
Because you can just say Beetlejuice 3 times and he goes away. Quite a weakness, really.
Yeah.
It's not the most compelling villain when all you need to do to get rid of him is just say his name.
But
Like,
nobody can say it really fast,
no, it's true.
which does come up later.
It does. Yeah.
Frustratingly annoying.
Yeah, just do it. Just say
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But yeah, so they banish him again, and it doesn't work. The family, far from being scared, actually having proof that the house is haunted makes them very excited, and they decide to turn it into like a tourist destination kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then they attempt to speak to the dead, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis by holding like a seance. So Otho, the weird friend of theirs, holds this whole seance and summons them, but it turns out it's not a seance, it's an exorcism. He's reading the wrong passage or something. And so Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin start to rapidly like decompose. They start to die.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder, obviously. Oh, Winona Ryder at this point has like befriended them because she's very like gothy and she's very lonely. She doesn't really seem to have any friends, and she's fascinated by. She's the only one who can see them all the time because she believes in them because she's she herself is an outsider and whatever it is she says. So so she's become friends with them basically. And so when this happens and they start being exorcised, she's begs them to stop, and then she runs up to the attic and she, in desperation, summons Beetlejuice to rescue them. And Beetlejuice agrees to rescue them, but only if Winona Ryder agrees to marry him, because he needs to marry a mortal in order to escape from the underworld and become human again, or to get back get back into the overworld. I don't know, something good for him. So she agrees reluctantly. He comes back again, does some stuff where he dresses like it. Basically, he's just doing it at this point. And he manages to stop the seance / exorcism, scare the family away, rescue Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, but then he starts trying to force Winona Ryder to marry him. She obviously doesn't actually want to marry him. Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin try to stop him, but he uses his magic. He like zips her mouth shut and sends him.
It's very genie, isn't it?
Again, that's what I mean. It's very Robin Williams. There's definitely Robin Williams vibes in this film. So there's a whole fight sequence where they're trying to fight him off, and he casts them out into the Salvador Dali painting outside again. But they manage to somehow, and it happens very quickly, they somehow manage to tame the outside monsters, ride them in, swallow him whole. Basically, he gets devoured, and they save the day. And the film just ends with the two families coexisting happily together. Like, Winona Ryder loves having this surrogate pair of parents. They've got a surrogate kid that they always wanted. There was a bit of a plot at the beginning how they don't have kids and maybe they're struggling to conceive. And so that's kind of a factor. And it ends with definitely the most iconic scene, the scene that everybody remembers who's seen this film, which is Winona Ryder levitating and dancing to Shake, Shake, Shake Sonora. And
why was she levitating?
Because the ghosts were like using their magic.
Could they do that in any other part of the film?
I guess.
Did they lift anything up?
Well, they made everyone else do the stupid dance, so presumably they do anything.
I guess.
Yeah. It's just a fun scene.
Well, yeah.
Don't think about it. But yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. That happens. They're all living happily ever after, and then we end with Beetlejuice trapped in Underworld forever, trapped in Hell's waiting room for eternity. He's like number 9,999,999, and the ticket machine is at 4. So yeah, that's basically how it ends. So on a fairly fun little note. Yeah. It's a very thin film.
It is.
Plot wise, not much to describe.
There's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
Oh well, now we're done with Tim Burton forever. So
yeah, sure, okay. We can move on to different ghost films. Yeah. I didn't hate it. It was fine. It was fun.
No, it certainly wasn't like absolutely terrible, but just I didn't enjoy much of it.
No, I think if you'd seen it when you were like 8, you'd have a higher appreciation for it.
Yeah.
My wife and I would like to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure. Go ahead, shoot.
Well, for instance, what are your qualifications?
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think? You think I'm qualified?
Do you want to move on to drinking games?
Sure, yeah. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I've got drink whenever anybody summons or banishes Beetlejuice.
Yeah, sure. Or attempts to.
Yeah.
Because you have to say his name 3 times, so you'll get a lot of just like once or twice, and then they'll shut them down. So, yeah. You could also just drink every time Beetlejuice is on screen, because it's really not that much.
No, it's not, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that also works.
Yeah. I had drink for Harry Belafonte songs, as mentioned. This film did a great deal for his back catalogue.
Yeah.
He's basically the soundtrack.
Drink for a ghost.
Dale. Sorry. Dale. Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry.
Drink for a ghost trope.
Dale. Look. Fine. Drink for what, sorry?
A ghost trope.
Drink for a ghost trope.
Yeah.
Examples?
Well, like the ghosts putting the sheets over themselves.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Moving things,
Mm-hmm.
going woo.
Okay, yeah, it plays around with the cliches quite a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one, yeah. I had drink for a costume change, specifically a Catherine O'Hara costume change.
Okay, yeah.
She had some looks in this film. And again, that's something I love about Tim Burton, is that the costumes are always really interesting. And every time, everything she wore was really interesting to me. It seemed like, I don't know, the weirdest stuff. Like there's her earrings were amazing. Like she comes in and she's wearing like full wind chimes as earrings.
Yeah.
And then later on she's wearing other big ear. Always like they're always huge, even by 80 standards. They're like at one point I swear to God they're just like dream catchers. And then there's also a scene where I think at the dinner table where she's wearing like a rubber glove as a hat, which someone did on RuPaul's Drag Race a few seasons ago, which it really made me laugh. Like. And then there's another one where she's wearing, I swear she's wearing a jumper, like an old man's red sweater as pants. Like, she's honestly go back and look at them. It's so weird. Yeah. And the best one is when she's wearing an all white, like oversized blouse with a single black sleeve. It's like, where is she buying these clothes? Like, what occasion are they for? Like,
Don't know.
I loved it.
I like how she's sort of kept that in her career.
Yes, she definitely, absolutely. Maybe that all came from her. Maybe that's like maybe that's not a Tim Burton thing. Maybe it's a Catherine O'Hara thing. But
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I just love the style.
I mean, I genuinely think it is a thing that she brought to Schitt's Creek.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, look, I've seen it in a behind the scenes thing
with her wigs and everything.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. It just adds to that character so much.
Yeah,
this kind of New York hipster artist type that she's trying to be. It's really, really entertaining.
Yeah. Drink whenever Winona Ryder whines or says something angsty or goth.
I said drink every time Winona Ryder is emo AF. So it's basically the same thing. There are some good quotes. Like, she's not annoyingly whiny, I don't think. No. She's actually quite entertainingly. She's kind of definitely got like Wednesday Addams vibes, even the Addams Family movies. Like, my whole life is a dark room. That was a really good one. I myself am strange and unusual. It's great. I loved it. And loved Winona Ryder in this.
Don't bait your mother, Pumpkin. As soon as we get settled, we'll build you a dark room in the basement, okay?
My whole life is a dark room. One big, dark room.
Yeah. Drink for visual choices. This is another Tim Burton thing that I really like. Like, just weird visual touches. I mean, we've already talked about the costumes and the general vibe and everything, but like, just individual scenes, you would see, like, the sets are always really interesting. Like, there's one bit where Catherine O'Hara and the husband and Offo, they just kind of sat out in the garden or in the whatever the outside bit is, and they're sat there on like garden deck chairs. Yeah, and behind them is just a single bearing wall. Yes, like the side, a single side of a house. Yeah, and for no reason, Offo is wearing like a kimono. Yeah, just the whole sequence just looks like what's the setup here? Like, why? But
well, again, it's New York art decor.
Yeah.
Like,
it was really fun. I loved it.
Like, it was bizarre.
It was just like eye candy.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Drink whenever the handbook is seen or mentioned.
Oh, yes, the handbook for the recently deceased. Very good, yeah. Drink for ropey special effects. Yeah, totally. Deliberately ropey. I'm not complaining. I love it. It's obviously meant to be like B-movie-ish, but I don't know. I really like it. I always say this, but I really like it. It doesn't look dated. It just looks fun. Like, it's not like seeing a bad CGI. Like the monster effects, they're so like claymation-y and stop motion-y, and like the backdrops always look really clearly they're just standing on a green screen somewhere. Like, it's not remotely convincing, but it's so fun that I don't care. It doesn't take me out of the film in any way. It just adds to the film.
Yeah, so. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Last one I got: drink for cuts to the model town. Okay. Yes. So drink whenever like the model town is like where somebody's walking around. Sure. Which does happen semi. Just like, he likes to do this whole thing where like his films are set in these teeny little suburbs. Like Edward Scissorhands has that too. Like everything's a little bit too picture perfect. All the backing characters have got like giant hair and, slightly crazy outfits. Yeah. Great. My last one was drink for monsters. Every time you see a new monster design. Oh yeah. All the underworld stuff. Like, yeah, that's good. Did you have a favourite monster? I liked the one that had another monster in its mouth. Oh, that was good, yeah. Like, it's just so visually creative. Yeah. It's great. It's really good, yeah. Cool, okay, well, I guess that's drinking games. Yeah, sure. Listeners, if you've enjoyed any of these drinking games or any of what we've said before or anything that we might say in the future, then...
There's only one way to find out.
Yes. Which is, first of all, subscribe if you're not already. But secondly, if you really, really like it, you're hardcore like what me and John say.
Hardcore.
And you want to hear just that little bit more, then if you go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset, you can subscribe for as much or as little as you feel that we're worth. If you do, you get extended versions of the main show. You get an extra 10-15 minutes, maybe. It varies. But that's extra drinking games, extra sequel pitches, and extra listen submissions. Plus extra whatever else John feels like putting in there.
Yeah, I'll find something.
Yeah. Also, if you do that, you get a bonus show that we do where we normally review films that are in cinema, but we also do take requests as well when cinemas don't feel like showing films for whatever reason.
Yes, such as for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. We'll maybe watch some Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
There's plenty we can do.
There is loads.
Although I did watch that film, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, the new Charlie Kaufman film.
Okay.
You would hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I hope for your sake it doesn't get nominated for any Oscars because you would hate it.
Why would I hate it?
I didn't love it. But no, I'm not saying, I got it, but Harry would hate it. I didn't like it.
Okay.
But I think you would really dislike it. It's just very pretentious and very wordy.
Welcome to Charlie Kaufman films.
Yes, but the ones we've done, Eternal Sunshine and Adaptation. I mean, you didn't love Adaptation. I quite liked Adaptation. But Eternal Sunshine and Malkovich.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really like those two, right? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good. This one was very pretentious. It was annoyingly so. I found it intensely irritating.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it's the kind of thing that maybe might get. I don't actually think it will get any Oscar nominations because I think it's actually too annoying.
Yeah.
But if it does and you have to watch it, then poor you because you will not like it. But lots of other Netflix stuff we can do.
Yeah. There's that new Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson film, The Devil All the Time.
Oh, is that on Netflix?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
So, yeah, that's good. Planning on watching that one soon. So, yeah, we'll have a review for that up soon. But we have also managed to sneak a few little cinema gems, such as Tenet and The New Mutants. We've actually seen it. We have actually legitimately seen that film. So, you want to hear
rare company, yeah.
You want to hear our thoughts on it? That's where you go. Patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Indeed.
Hello, I'm Anna.
Murray.
Lauren.
Thomas.
Ishal.
And we've just been hired as receptionists
At Edinburgh Newington Quids Inn,
Britain's premier chain of budget hotels.
So if you want to hear about what we've been up to,
or you're bored,
or you've heard that podcasts are cool and wanted to seem trendy,
search for Welcome to the Quids Inn
on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Right, everybody, back to work.
Right. Sequels.
Okay. So I have 3, but I did realise that 2 of mine go quite well together, which I think happened last week as well.
Yes, that was a classic.
Yeah. Because I had some separate ideas, but I was like, actually, you could combine these. So, why not? It's more story. So I'll do my one that was separate to the rest first.
Okay.
And this is definitely my fittest idea. And maybe you'll have this as well. But this was basically what if Beetlejuice, but other famous ghost movies.
Okay.
Like Beetlejuice meets... So I'm going to give you a few classic ghost movie crossovers and we can discuss how this might look. So, for example, Beetlejuice meets The Others.
Okay.
So, The Others, classic Nicole Kidman thriller, chiller.
If you don't know the plot, ladies and gentlemen, please do go back to our back catalogue about 6 months ago.
Yes, we did it. It's a good film. But it ends with Nicole Kidman, who is a ghost. Spoiler. That spoils the whole film. Sorry. In this Victorian mansion. And she's kind of like, nobody can ever make us leave this house. She's got these 2 creepy little ghost children. And, at the time, she's managed to drive the invading family out just using her own kids.
Yeah.
But maybe cut to the 21st century, 2020.
Yeah.
And a new family moves in. And they're not scared of, weird, pale-faced ghost children. And whatever she does, she can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like obnoxious Americans, like the most obnoxious, because she's so brittle and English in that film.
No, I think you're going down the wrong plot line there.
Okay.
I think that it should be rather than she needs Beetlejuice's help, because she's already managed to get rid of people from the house before. She's a competitor to Beetlejuice.
Oh, okay. So she's like the classy version of Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So she's just like, she's become a ghost for hire.
Yeah.
But she's a lot more upmarket than Beetlejuice. Yeah. Like she's not gonna like try and molest anyone or, she's just gonna do her job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good. And maybe Beetlejuice like
Oh. And instead of because the payment needs to be a bit higher because she's a bit more classy.
Sure, okay, yeah.
So
she's premium.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So instead of just asking for marriage to come back to life, she wants the souls of their firstborn children.
Ooh, okay. Dark.
Because like she was the mother, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah, she killed her child.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so she just wants more children. And she wants, like, for everybody she helps out, she takes the soul of their firstborn. It's the classic, you know.
Yeah, okay, sure. So there's going to be a family who enlist her help and then realise that they've made too much of a bargain with the devil. And then maybe they call on Beetlejuice to try and drive her away.
Yeah.
Because he's the opposite of her in every way.
Yeah.
And then maybe they fall in love.
Beetlejuice and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, they're like so opposite. She finds out that deep down she quite likes a messy guy, you know. He's so against everything that she is.
I'm disgusted by that.
Yeah. I know.
Just like Michael Keaton like that, and then Nicole Kidman being all uptight and proper.
Yeah.
It just feels wrong.
And that's why it's so right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he awakens something primal in her.
That'd be so unnerving.
Yeah.
Her in a different role, like, yeah, maybe, but just like in this role matched with him. Ooh.
Yeah, all her repression meets all of his like expression.
Yeah.
And it just it's hot. It's a chemical reaction. It's like yeah.
Oh god.
I like it.
Oh, that's really put me off.
Well, sorry. My next one was on the same theme. Was Beetlejuice meets The Sixth Sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, it's whether or not he meets Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis hires him for something.
Oh, again, spoiling The Sixth Sense.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, if nobody knew what happens in that film, that's never been spoiled.
Yeah. Or is it that he runs into Haley Joel Osment? Or both?
Yeah, both works. But to what end?
What happened to Bruce Willis at the end of that film? Did he just move on?
I guess. Did he just fade away? Or
I can't remember, because I know Haley Joel Osment has that whole scene with Toni Collette when he's like, you know, about his grandma, and that's their story over. But what happened to Bruce? Does he realizes he's dead?
Yeah.
Does he reunite with his wife? I honestly can't remember.
No, I genuinely don't remember either.
Yeah.
And I feel like us not remembering makes me feel like we're in an M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes, it's been just wiped from our brains.
You know, because like Bruce Willis didn't remember dying, didn't he?
Oh God, are we dead?
I don't know.
We bound together for all eternity.
That'd be the twist. Oh no, God. No. Wow, so we made it 1 week into Halloween and we're already dead.
Yeah, great. Excellent work, Harry.
Yeah, I don't really know where to go with that one.
No. When we did The Sixth Sense, what sequels did we do?
Well, let's see. So Haley Joel Osment, he's really good at just seeing dead people.
He sees dead people, yeah. So he would see Beetlejuice.
That's his thing. Do you reckon?
Maybe he hooks up with Winona Ryder.
Sure.
There we go.
Yeah. I was gonna say that maybe he starts finding new clients for Beetlejuice.
Okay.
He works as an agent.
Oh, he's an undead agent.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Do you need a haunting? This guy can put you in touch.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's become a sleazy agent for ghosts. That's fantastic. I like that, yeah.
Yeah. That's where that will go. All right, next, what you got?
Oh, okay, we're just leaving it there. Sure.
I thought it ends on a high.
Sure, okay.
Like, so quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, okay, fine. And my last one on this vein, I do have other ideas which are separate, but yeah. Beetlejuice meets the Ghostbusters.
Okay, sure.
But I was thinking like the Ghostbusters 2016 disastrous revamp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every time this happens, I just need to remind myself what Beetlejuice was.
Yeah. He was a demon, ghost, underworld creature.
He moved the living out of the dead house.
Yes, essentially.
Right, okay. So he would be against the Ghostbusters.
Yes, pretty much. He's doing the opposite of their job.
Yeah, like the literal opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'd be the fight of the ages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would happen when they trapped him in one of the ghost traps?
Well, could they?
Well, yeah, he's a ghost, right?
Sure.
They could just get any ghost.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe, okay, I know. Maybe the Ghostbusters get summoned to that specific house, the house of Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. Maybe a new family moves in and wants a full exorcism.
Sure.
And so they reluctantly call Beetlejuice one more time to protect the house because they're actually going to be properly exorcised and they're scared of that. So they call Beetlejuice to defend the whole house, basically. And so it is literally Beetlejuice versus the Ghostbusters. Yeah. It turns into a whole fight.
Oh, right. Could it be like a bit of a Home Alone kind of thing?
Oh, so they set loads of traps, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking the other way around.
No, I mean, he sets loads of traps, yeah.
So where Beetlejuice has basically had some notice that they're going to come or whatever. He's been there for a few decades.
He's turned it into like a haunted
Yeah, and so he's just like, right, just try it. You've trapped so many of my friends over the years.
Yeah.
So many of my ghost friends, and clients and stuff. So now I'm gonna trap you, so you stop trapping everybody else, and then all the ghosts are gonna give me money or whatever, or wives or whatever it is interested in.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's a whole Home Alone thing where the Ghostbusters become the busted.
Okay, I like that. I think they would do good reactions to being like caught up in those traps as well.
Yes, definitely. That cast would, yeah.
And maybe in this case, the bad guys win and Beetlejuice does manage to drive them away, and at least he keeps the family safe. So
yeah.
And then they just have to like somehow trap him again by saying his name 3 times.
Oh yeah, there's still that going on, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think at some point he's got to overcome that.
Yeah.
Like maybe he befriends a good witch or something, and she just like changes the spell.
He upgrades his powers.
Yeah. Now you've got to say it.
He just gets married. Yeah.
Now you've got to say it 4 times, but nobody knows.
Yeah. Maybe he marries Leslie Jones.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Talks her into it. Appears as a handsome man.
Possesses her into it.
Possesses her into it. Great. And then he's on the mortal realm forever, and then they're just stuck with him.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, that was all my Beetlejuice meets ideas.
Okay. Not sure where to go on this one, this idea that I've got here, but you can veto it if you want.
Sure.
The gay decorator guy, he kept the ghost book, or the
the handbook for the recently deceased.
Yes, and is now an expert in the undead.
Okay.
Where do you go with that?
So
I was thinking something to do with. I've forgotten what I was thinking. Carry on.
So you got as far as minor supporting character becomes Book of the Dead expert.
Well, yeah.
Well, does he become... What, go on, that's it.
No, I forgot again. Carry on.
For God's sake, Harry. So
I'm dead. Give me a break.
So he's kind of this pretentious hipster artist type, basically, in the original film. So he gets the Book of the Dead, and maybe he becomes like a psychic, like a medium,
Yeah.
He goes around the houses of the rich and the famous and the fashionable and does seances for them.
While decorating their house.
While redecorating the house, yes.
Oh, no. So he goes around and does seances, but just to basically support his side business, all the ghosts are always making up excuses as to why, like, oh, don't redecorate the house. Like, we'd like the house just is, which means that the alive people are just like, oh, no, we should redecorate.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, conveniently enough, here's my card.
He's cashing in. Yeah, he's cashing in. And the undead world are sick of it.
Yes.
Because he's just constantly bugging them and also convincing the living to make their houses look tacky.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe there's this whole coalition of undead celebrities in particular. Like, dead celebrities, because he's obviously going to go for, like,
the higher end.
Yeah, the rich and famous.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe this whole... Yeah, maybe there's this whole support group of rich and famous dead celebrities, like, Michael Jackson, Amy Winehouse, Elvis Presley, you name it, anyone who's died.
Yeah.
They're all bandied together, and they're all in agreement that somebody needs to stop this guy. And that somebody is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And he gets set on him all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. That's a good sequel.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. What was the title?
I don't have one.
Okay, fine. Cool. So my last...
I had barely an idea there.
No, sure. That was thin, but we got somewhere.
I pitched it as a thin one.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
I've got a thicker one later.
Great, I look forward to receiving it. So, my last idea. Thank you. Okay, so this is my last idea, and it's the one that of the 2 ideas that I combined.
Yeah.
So the first idea I had was in the original film, in the beginning sequences, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, they're getting harassed by their real estate agent.
Yeah.
Who's like really desperate to resell the house.
Yeah.
And then they turn her down, and then minutes later they end up dead.
Yeah.
And she flips the house and sells it to the Dietzes. So I was thinking, what if it turns out that she actually murdered them?
I like that. Yeah, so
like,
she let the dog on the loose. Which really feels like an easy way for them not to die. Just like, oh, I took a dog off the lead.
Yes.
That was my cunning plan all along. I mean, it's pretty untraceable, though.
Yeah. Well, maybe she also like cut their tires or something so that when they swerved, they couldn't...
Cut their brakes.
Cut their brakes, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm thinking that she basically... This real estate agent, Jane, I think she's called, she's got this whole racket where she murders people and then flips their houses and sells them for a profit. And that's her whole business model, basically.
Sure.
And she's done it to many people, including Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis.
Yeah.
So that's one idea, and I'll come back to that because it circles into my second idea, which is we cut to 30 years later. Now, this does raise the question, though. 30 years later, we're bringing back Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis.
Yeah.
Can ghosts get fat?
There would definitely be a joke about it.
Sure, yeah, exactly. But it's just part of the humour. You know?
Yeah. Don't know. I wonder what ghosts eat.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't think they could, but maybe that's the joke. Like, you don't even eat anything. How have you gained all this weight? Like,
Yeah.
that's just,
So they become just like a bitter married couple now? They're
actually,
very much out of the honeymoon phase.
Exactly. They've been trapped together in eternity for 30 odd years.
Yeah.
And they're no longer, they're bickering a lot. That could actually make their characters a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
Yeah.
But
maybe there's also a joke because she's like just hounding him for like his weight and just like saying like, well, how do you get fat when you're dead?
Yeah.
And maybe he just like does something about like how she's aged or something.
Sure, yeah.
And then she just keeps sort of like looking at the camera, just like, he's aged as well. Look at him, he's grey.
Yeah, sure.
Like his hair's falling out and everything. But we make Alec Baldwin look even worse than he does in normal life.
Sure.
I mean, he looks absolutely fine in normal life.
Yes,
So you'd need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, just have jokes make him a little bit more obnoxious.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly. So they're this bickering ghost married couple now.
Yeah.
The honeymoon period is well and truly over. Catherine O'Hara and her husband, they're still living in the house. But it's 2020 and they both get killed by coronavirus.
Okay, great.
And maybe Winona Ryder comes back to the house to nurse them, maybe while they're sick, also gets coronavirus, also dies.
Yeah.
It's a very modern thing.
Wow.
They all end up dead. So now they're all sharing the house. It's not that bleak. That was just a reason to kill them.
It's all right. Yeah, these ideas, they always start off bleak when,
Yes.
like, that's how it has to be.
But the idea is that now both families are undead and sharing the house.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And it's okay at first, like, as much as they're different people, they've already been living together for like 30 years, so
Yeah.
they're making it work. They're giving each other space, whatever, maybe there's some comedy at first.
It's a big enough house.
It is. Until a new family moves in.
Okay.
Yeah. And this family is a family of fundamentalist Christians.
Right, sure.
Yeah. So they annoy Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin straight away by being really holier than thou and just annoying and spiritual and annoying, and also by all that kind of stuff. But they also infuriate Catherine O'Hara by redecorating the house in tacky kind of new agey religious, like there's crosses everywhere and inspirational Bible passages on the wallpaper. Like, it's just, live, laugh, love, all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, stop it.
Exactly. So your face is what Catherine O'Hara's face is doing. So both families are horrified. This is not what any of them want.
Yeah.
And also, instead of listening to Harry Belafonte, all they listen to is like Christian rock and Christian country music. So,
have you got a cast for this?
I don't know who could you cast as the obnoxious religious family.
I don't know, but Anna Kendrick needs to be involved.
She could definitely be involved. I mean, we're using her a lot recently, but sure, yeah.
Only because she came up recently.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
I was thinking who could play like uber religious goody two shoes. I feel like Anne Hathaway could do this.
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher.
Yes. Yeah. That kind of vibe, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they need to rehire Beetlejuice to get rid of this family of Christians. But what I was also thinking, that to loop back to my original idea, is that these country Christian folks, they're sold the house by Jane, the real estate agent.
Okay.
And it turns out that and this is when they find out that she's actually been murdering people in the community. And then when they finally realize, oh my God, she murdered us. She's been murdering everybody in the whole village and flipping the houses for a profit.
Yeah.
And so it becomes not only about getting rid of this new obnoxious family, but also it's about getting revenge on her for murdering them all. So that's what they rehire Beetlejuice for, to get rid of this new family and also to get revenge on Jane, the real estate agent. And they really want her dead. Like, and I think it ends with them having her killed in some way, and then she's also trapped. So, and then they're stuck with her. So, which is nobody's idea or a good time. But
do you think they just let lots of dogs loose and
could be? Yes. Yeah. She has to die the way she
car
lived,
off the bridge or something.
She has to either get crushed by a house. Yeah. Or rabid dogs.
Like the Wicked Witch of the East or whatever.
Or rabid dogs. Either or, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe she's not a very nice dog owner. Maybe the dog has been like obeying her because that's what dogs do. But then in the end, there's a scene where she's like, I don't know, hanging onto a cliff edge or something that the dog can do to kill her.
Is she Cruella de Vil?
Basically, yeah. I don't know why I've got Cruella de Vil in my head right now, but sure.
But it works there if she's going to be killed by dogs.
Yeah, exactly. She should die the way she lived, definitely. So
yeah.
That's basically it. So that is Beetlejuice 2, A Deal with the Devil.
Nice.
So the deal with the devil is with Beetlejuice, the character, to get rid of this lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and
that's
the Christians.
certainly a good title. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
I like it. Okay, last one I got here. I'm not sure how much this is similar to my last idea, but last idea was very on the fly. So, Winona Ryder becomes a medium.
Okay.
But to make ends meet, she needs to find a way to really make some money.
Okay.
So it's largely going to be...
Is this 30 years later? It's current day Winona Ryder?
Yeah, sure. May as well. But it's largely going to be a collection of scenes of her doing the whole flamboyant medium thing of like, oh, I'm sensing that you had like a brother.
Oh, sure.
All stuff like that. But she can just see the guy there.
Yeah.
And
she's a phony, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because, well, she's not a phony.
Have you ever had a granddad?
Well, she's not fully a phony because she can absolutely see the dead and she can communicate with the dead. Just like how she was communicating with Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. But they're just normal people.
Okay.
And they speak normally and they can speak in full sentences and everything.
And she's making it out to be all mysterious,
yeah.
Okay, sure.
So she's got that whole routine, with incense.
Is she still dressing the way she dresses in the original film?
I was going to say long flowing black gowns
yes,
and stuff like that. A lot of eyeliner.
Perfect. Okay.
She's just putting this act on just to make money. Sure. And so she's doing all this stuff like, I sense that you've got a brother with the name, with the letter J in his name.
Meanwhile, the brother's just standing on the side like, get on with it.
Yes, come on. Like, tell her I miss her.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, my name is Jamie, but tell her I miss her.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Okay.
Where do you want to go with that?
Okay. Is she still working in the same town?
Can be.
Are Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin still helping her out? Are they like her ghostly liaisons?
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Like when somebody dies, then Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, they're there to kind of introduce them to like, so you're dead.
Yeah. Maybe they've set up an agency for the recently deceased to help them to connect with the living. So if you've got any final messages, we'll get you in touch with our medium cohort on the living side. And between the three of them, they've got quite a snazzy little business set up.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
That works.
And maybe Beetlejuice emerges wanting to
get in on the action, I think.
Yeah, destroy the business maybe, sabotage.
Because it's not like his life aim or his ghost aim or whatever you want to call it is to remove humans from a dead person's house.
No.
He's just a guy trying to make some money or just trying to get his way. Mm-hmm. So, he could definitely do anything. He wants in on the action.
Yeah. Maybe, okay, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that they set up this agency for connecting the living to the dead. And they get in trouble with the undead, the main undead world, like the old lady with the cigarettes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because the whole rule, the number one rule of being undead is that you don't tell the living. You have to keep your secret. You have to keep the secrets of the undead.
Right.
They've gone completely against that by opening this agency because they're actively creating connections between living people and dead people. And so they get the entire undead world turns on them. So then they have to hire Beetlejuice to help them out, basically.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because I could definitely see that this could completely change the political landscape of the undead world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's never been done before.
Yeah, like, hey guys, what if we do actually tell people that we're around? Wow, what a...
Yeah, it's liberating. It changes everything. But the powers that be in the undead world, they don't like it and they're trying to shut it down.
Yes, and so they hire Beetlejuice to fight back against the system.
Yeah, basically.
And Beetlejuice now becomes a lawyer.
Because he's he's the ultimate anti-authoritarian, and he could definitely do like a Jim Carrey and Liar Liar style thing. So
yeah, no, I definitely like that. Yeah. Beetlejuice 2 election year.
Election year, great. Yeah, sure. Was there an election involved?
I don't know, but we could go there. Like,
sure. What, he runs for office?
Yeah, I'd say that maybe after liberating them in a court case or something and just changing the laws like that, Beetlejuice is like, right, I am unstoppable.
Yeah, maybe he gets sick of the rules and regulations of the undead world and it's like, you know what, I'm going to turn this on its head. I'm going to run for office.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder and
he's going to be the president of the undead.
Yeah, and they help to.
He'll be the newly elected devil.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, the devil gets. Yeah, there's a new devil. There's a new opening in hell for a new Antichrist, and and Gina Davis
and he's in the running.
Yes,
he's not the only African though.
And Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin are helping to run his campaign.
Yeah,
and trying to keep him on track. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that totally works. Maybe that's 2 films there actually, but yeah.
I don't know. I think there's definitely enough material for at least one. So
yeah, definitely. So that's that.
Yeah, very good.
Unless you've got any more. Do you want to do some listener submissions?
I'm done. Should we go to listener submissions?
Go for it.
Do you have any this week?
No.
Okay. I have some this week.
Didn't get approved.
Dear. You need to find some new venues, I think. Well, I have some this week. Quite a few people said Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. which was actually the sequel they tried to make. It sounds terrible. I'm not surprised it never happened.
Okay.
But literally for 30 years, they've been trying to get a sequel off the ground for this film. And the script that they came up with was called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, and it was exactly as it sounds. It was Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii.
That doesn't sound like a very Tim Burton sort of visual location.
No, well, apparently he liked it because he liked the idea of the kind of contrast between the Beetlejuice's Halloween-y kind of vibe and literal, like, sunny Hawaii. I don't think that's enough to write a whole film around.
No.
I think there's a reason that film never got made.
I don't like that contrast either.
No, but that's what they were trying for. So.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. J. Alex Boyd said, Beetleman, or the unexpected virtue of spookiness. Birdman.
Yeah. Yes.
Because, you know,
of course,
Keaton, yeah. Dennis Fanning said, Beetlejuice Cleanse. The ghost with the most manages to exercise the entire living world and shenanigans ensue. I just love the title of that, Beetlejuice Cleanse.
Yeah.
Travis Owen said Beetlejuice versus Ghostbusters Requiem. We touched on it. But
sure.
Isaiah Hand had one that we actually didn't think of, but works very well. Beetlejuice versus Candyman. Because they're both three names. You know, Beetlejuice, Candyman.
Yep.
Well, I'm dead.
Yep.
Scott Hillman said, Beetlejuice runs for mayor, and let me tell you, the dead are voting, and they're voting Republican.
It's not a million miles off what I did.
No, yeah, absolutely. Carter Grace also said Beetlejuice goes Hawaiian. Lydia, Winona Ryder, goes on vacation and has to recruit the ghost with the most to help scare away realtors looking to push their way into protected lands.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Stone said Beetlejuice 2, The Legend of Offo's Gold.
Nice.
Offo being the pretentious guy.
Yeah.
And finally, Brad Stone said Beetlejuice. Juice 2. So,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, yes, very entertaining. Thank you very much, guys. So, thank you, everybody, for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter where you can post your ideas. So, make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, all of which you can also leave a 5-star review, which really does help us to reach new listeners, so please do consider doing that. As mentioned before, we're also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the people who would rate us more than 5 stars if they could. You can find all the relevant links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, Harry, it's your first pick of this ghost season.
Yes.
So what have you got for me?
1 second.
You knew this was coming.
1 second. Molly, you and Danger Girl.
Yay!
Yeah.
I knew this. I was surprised when you looked at your phone because, like, surely there's only one choice.
I forgot the name Molly.
Oh, right, okay. that makes more sense. Okay, so we're doing Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Swayze, and Demi Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Good. So have I. It's a classic.
Good.
I'm excited to revisit it.
This is going to be a fantastic episode.
I'm excited for this one.
This is what the whole Ghost season was based around.
Yeah, this has been building for a while.
I thought I may as well do it before somebody else picks it.
True. It's been a while since we entered the world of Whoopi.
It is. Have we done a Whoopi before?
Have we done a Whoopi? She's another one. She does a lot of franchises.
I like the saying. Have we done a Whoopi?
Have we done a Whoopi? Yeah,
put that on a t-shirt.
One of us has done a Whoopi. We must have done a Whoopi.
She wasn't in Witches of Eastwick, was she?
No. Wow. So the closest we've come to doing a Whoopi is her brief cameo. I love that phrase. Is her brief cameo in and Out.
Yeah.
We've never gone full Whoopi.
Wow, we've never gone full Whoopi.
Because we couldn't do the sister act because they are famously, there's a sequel. Lion King, she does a voice in, but again, and we've discussed it on the bonus show, but we've not done the main, because again, sequels.
Yeah.
We've never done Girl Interrupted because, I mean, it's good, but it's kind of depressing. Colour Purple, same. It's an amazing film, but I wouldn't really want to do a sequel for it. Yeah, there's not a lot of Whoopi out there, so this could be, this. I mean, this is truly classic Whoopi. This is her Oscar film, so I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. We could always do How Stella Got Her Groove Back one day.
Okay, sure. Well, you know what? Let's get some Whoopi Goldberg films done.
Yes.
Let's do many Whoopies together.
Let's indeed. Yeah, that's what I always wanted for this podcast. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, hope you're all having a happy Halloween.
Yeah.
For first week of, because there's not much else to do these days. Hope you've enjoyed listening to Beetlejuice with us.
Yeah.
And do please join in next week
for Ghost.
For Ghost. Best film of the year. This is going to be.
This is going to be a good one. I'm excited. See you next week, guys.
See you guys. Bye.
I would rather talk about.
There